Now, I don't agree with that, actually. There is a lot, even in the bad part of Final Fantasy XIV, that is pretty good. You spend a lot of time with characters, characterization is pretty strong, dialogue is often charming, funny, and as I say, the way that the world is developed is pretty impressive at times. The way that I first explored Final Fantasy XIV was to dig up the Encyclopedia Eorzea Volume 1, kind of skim through it as I was leveling up. It's a semi-in-character document. It isn't just a kind of Wikipedia given print form. It is, in fact, something that characters might read themselves. So it doesn't expose itself to you on a highly topic-by-topic basis. It instead kind of has a coherence to it. And what that meant was that I would encounter in the game concepts that had been explained to me in this more academic style. Please don't repeat the video. We did just go through it. Things that had been explained to me in this more academic style. I believe I was going to roll on Spriggan, right? And that really did work pretty good for my brain, is what I found. I gather this may be what people who did the reading before class in school may have felt their entire academic careers. Couldn't be me. But running into these ideas that I'd seen developed in the abstract in an in-character way, implemented in an actual story, was pretty exciting. And through all that, I'm just zooming right in on the midriff, huh? I wanted you to look at the face. But through all that, I found that there was a lot in the overall experience of the bad part of the game that was very valuable. I think particularly it's this getting to know the world, and it's also getting a lot of exposure to these fairly likable characters, which in turn makes the part that is good be invested with more meaning than it otherwise could be. Unfortunately, I think that means we have to do it all again, because it was about a year ago that I did that. I was not sober at the time. And it's just been a while, you know. So here we stand back in the character creator, getting ready to embark again on a journey that I've never even completed before. I think we're going to be, what are they called? An Ora? I confirm? Hang on, let's go back. Ora. The curved horns and beautifully patterned scales that characterize the Ora often give rise to speculation that members of this Hyur-like race native to the far eastern continent of Athard are in fact the progeny of dragons. This, however, has been long disputed, with scholars citing several distinct differences in the two races as evidence of decidedly dissimilar roots. First and foremost being the enhanced hearing and spatial recognition granted by an Ora's cranial projections, traits not attributed to draconian horns. And the second being the gross disproportion in body mass between Ori males and females, again, a trait widely unseen in dragons. I guess their ladies are much smaller. Oh, they're really small. Didn't realize just how tiny they were. Not quite so much the case among the others. Tell me about the Hyur. They're said to have first traveled to Eorzea from her surrounding continents and islands. 3 great migratory waves later, they're now the most populous of all the civilized races. They exhibit a relatively modest physique, both in height and build, and are known for their peculiarly short, rounded ears, weirdos. Hyurs are well suited to traveling long distances by foot, a trait thought to account for their swift proliferation. Their espousal of an eclectic variety of languages and traditions is a legacy of their diverse heritage, as is their resulting lack of a unified cultural identity. The Elezen in former times were the sole inhabitants of Eorzea, which is a continent, not a world, claiming dominion over her. Traditionally a nomadic people, the tall, slender Elezen believed the realm to be theirs by divine right. Unfortunately, this belief made the eventual appearance of the Hyur and their multitudes akin to an invasion, and a long history of conflict ensued. Ultimately, the Elezen diverged into 2 clans that exist today. The Wildwood took the forests to protect their homeland, while the Duskwhite Elezen withdrew to caves and subterrane. Subterrane, maybe? Opting instead to avoid all contact with any but their own. High Elves, Drow, pretty standard stuff. They do have terrible necks, though. Just the worst necks. Lalafell. A wee people sporting short, rotund bodies, the Lalafell appears no more than children to the eyes of most. Many of these nimble little folk hail from the islands of the South Seas, where they practice a simple agricultural lifestyle. It was not until the opening of maritime trade routes that the gradual migration of Lalafells to Eorzea began. Now one of the most well-established races in the realm, Lalafells can be found in great numbers in nearly every city. The Lalafellan culture places a great emphasis on blood relations. Individuals are known for getting along amicably with members of all races. The Mikote, the ancestors of the Mikote made their way to Eorzea during the Age of Endless Frost, traversing the frozen seas in pursuit of the wildlife upon which they subsisted. Adaptation to a hunting lifestyle has fashioned them with a keen sense of smell, powerful legs, and a tail which provides them exceptional balance. This is real phrenological, isn't it? All of these are rundowns. Mikote are known to be very territorial, and many individuals tend to lead solitary lifestyles, particularly males. The Rugadin, known for their brawny builds and piercing eyes, the Rugadin are the largest and most rugged of Eorzea's races. The majority of the realms of Rugadin belong to the Seawolf clan, a maritime people who are in their keep on or by the sea, be it as sailors, fishermen, or pirates. Comparatively fewer in number are the Hellsguard, who are known for their more earnest demeanors and can often be found working as bodyguards and smithies. Trolls. We know about the Ora, sort of draconic people. The Hrothgar, the other kind of catboy. Hailing from the distant shores of Ilsabard, the Hrothgar are a burly people of leonine appearance, or the males are at least. Females number staggeringly few among their population, and thus are rarely so much as glimpsed by other races. The Hrothgar's imposing countenance, mitigated not at all by their sharp claws and still sharper fangs, incited panic amongst Eorzeans upon their arrival. As they were also unable to communicate, initial interactions with the common folk often escalated into conflict. It was not until the Hrothgar gained mastery of the common tongue that fears were allayed, and in time they would be his neighbors, welcome in all corners of the realm. And the Vira. Of tall stature and slender frame, the Vira's physical appearance is strikingly similar to that of the Hure and Elizan, save for their distinctive long ears. Adhering to a strict code known as the Green Word, they're prohibited from contact with the outside world under threat of exile. Their society is purely matriarchal, and males of age are seldom, if ever, found within the bounds of any village. They instead serve as protectors of the wood from the shadows, that no evil may ever encroach on their sacred lands. That's great that even in the literal Playboy Bunny species, the description is still kind of about like the dudes who are absent. You gotta love it. Yeah, so we still got our customization set there. The clan. Ryan. Ori creation myth tells of a dawn father and a dusk mother from whom all Ora are descended. The Ryan believed their veins to run thick with the blood of the former, their brilliant white scales and iron wills serving as proof of this divine lineage. Unlike their sister clan, the Zaela, who bloody the land with their endless tribal conflict, the Ryan have embraced a life of tranquility and solitude, long abandoning the nomadic lifestyles of their ancestors to settle the deep valleys of Althard's mountainous eastern regions. Only on rare occasions will one emerge from the valley mists to seek adventure in realms afar. So who are the Zaela, apart from creepy looking? Ori creation myth tells of a dawn father and a dusk mother. The Zaela believe their veins run thick with the blood of the latter, their lustrous black scales and fiery wills serving as proof. Unlike their sister clan, the Ryan, who lead solitary lives hidden behind the savage peaks of Althard's eastern reaches, the Zaela are free spirits, who roam the vast western steppe in close-knit tribes, hunting, gathering, and warring as their ancestors have for countless generations. Well, we could read more about that if we were so inclined. But let's choose our name day, why don't we? The Eorzean calendar consists of the moon, Menfina, revolving around Hydaelyn's 2 astral and umbral poles, while fluctuating between each of the 6 elements. In this, the year can be said to be the length of 12 moons. What do you think? 7-7. Can't go wrong. Well, I guess it's hard to do 7, right? We got the first astral and umbral moon, which are the two polarities of, it's not called anima, right? What's it called? The energy that suffuses all things. Well, I'm sure we'll be reminded. Tell me about the fourth umbral moon. About the 15th. Place us near the center of the year. That fourth astral moon, maybe. Confirm. And then we can select a deity. Halani, mover of glaciers, and goddess of war, is the guardian deity of Ishgard. I believe this is not all that important. Let me see if any of these names are all that familiar to me. Biragat. I actually seem to recall that these gods in particular seem particularly not real within the metaphysics of the universe. There's considerably less evidence that these specific deities have any kind of manifestation in the world than there is of certain others for reasons we will see. What should we choose? We could be a gladiator, which is, yeah, we're gonna just go Disciple of Magic. And I think that we want to be as an Arcanist? Yes. So in the end, I think we're going to develop toward the Dark Knight. We'll definitely take a stop off maybe in Red Mage territory, just because they're a delight to play. We are not going to be recording a ton of gameplay, though. This is for my sanity, as I have to go around and kill 12 bears. For the most part, we're going to be focused on locations and dialogue. I guess we'll also do story dungeons as we come to them, but by and large, we'll be skipping the occasional, and they are only occasional in this game, request to go murder 15 wolves. But in the interest of knowing who we are, I think that I'm interested in the story behind the summoner class, because you do end up being able to conjure some pretty mythic beings who are relevant to the world that we're walking through. So let's go ahead and do that one. And in the fullness of time, we will go off and do other things as well, because that is how this game is intended to be played. As an Arcanist, we derive the art of Arcanum from... Adepts of the art of Arcanum derive our might from symbols of power, born of geometric techniques hailing from across the southern seas. Held within occult grimoires, these symbols lend shape to the Arcanist's ether, that's what it is, that's a light and dark, thereby allowing him to produce myriad powerful spells. Using the selfsame symbols to unlock the latent power contained within gemstones, Arcanists are also able to summon forth the familiar known as carbuncle to carry out their bidding. Cool. Well, that sounds pretty good to me. Oh yeah, and you got that goofy ass... That is extremely Final Fantasy Tactics right there. That horn, I'm pretty sure that was FFT stuff. That's what summoners look like. Maybe it predated that as well. I wouldn't know. But enough talk, hey? Let's go see some more talk. Selected Omega is our starting world. No, we want to go to Spriggan. And of course, our name is Longpoint Heroine. What do you think? Ooh, that voice is really... Whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's move. Hey, shiver at the music. That's me in there. I look very dopey from this angle. Please let us down. Controlled fall. I'm glad that our tail is so, Ooh. Here. Keep talking.
Here. Feel.
Hear and feel as they're playing their, the music they've been using since, I think, Final Fantasy I. I wonder if that's intended. Almost certainly. But they're... Ooh. Uh-oh. Seems we got a Grim Reaper coming at us. We were steps away from enlightenment, buddy. Here, feel, and think. I move this cursor out of the way, huh? Nice facial lighting there. I'm very threatening that from below. Oh, no, there's our hat. Apparently there are high-res texture mods out there that we might avail ourselves of, but not too concerned about it. Seems as Demiurge is standing in the way of our audience with the divine. How hard did he stand? Oi, you alright, lad? Seems we dozed off. A grizzled passenger says you were moaning in your sleep and sweating buckets besides. Rolling on the ship got your stomach churning, has it? He looks very feisty. Don't seem like seasickness now that I look at you. It'll be the ether then, I reckon. Some are more sensitive to the stuff than others. Others see, and we ain't too far from Vilbrin now, which is chock full of etherites. No need to fret, though. You'll soon get used to it. Dead silence, huh? Thought I'd turned music back on. Might well have been bloomin' seasickness. Might as well have been bloomin' seasickness. Ship's leaping around like a demented chocobo today. I reckon I might head out on deck, get myself a breath of fresh air. Limsa Lamens is still a fair way off, in case you're wondering. Seeing as you're awake and all, how about you keep me company till we get there? Them young'uns don't much care for conversations, see? Well, I wonder who they could be. Any road, Brennan's the name, and peddlin's me trade. But there's the music, we do have some. Some extremely strong fantasy colloquialisms in this game. I'm quite fond of any road. Cruising. It's entirely possible there's nothing that can make these long, sort of drifting camera shots bearable. A long, long time of not much going on. Smell that salty sea breeze, says Brennan. Now then, lad, judging by your unusual garments, I'd say you were one of them new adventurers. Am I warm? I knew it. Going wherever the wind blows, seeking fortune and glory. Now that's what I call living. As long as you can avoid dying, I mean. Ain't no secret that adventuring's a risky business, these days especially. What was it that first attracted you to it? Who were you making a choice? To gain power, to win glory, or to amass a fortune? And power, of course, we gotta topple some kings. Always our first goal. Power, as in power to do good, like protecting the weak and fighting for what's right and all that. I thought that's what you meant. Well, adventurers do get up to a lot of fighting, that's for sure. Never be short of a chance to polish your warcraft. Very funny. In the adventuring business. Once you make port, you best sign yourself up for the Adventurers Guild. They'll set you on the right path. And it wouldn't hurt to join a guild, neither. Limps is home to a few, so if you fancy learning how to swing an axe or even sling a spell, you should think about seeking one out. Just remember, though, there's more important things than fortune and glory, such as breathing. Ain't no profit in being dead, and that's a fact. Now nod, yeah, I was anticipating just a firm nod, simultaneous. Ooh-ah. Cannon, or something worse. You know, I might have made this a little more exciting. Ships off the starboard bow, pirate colors. There's a little less fog and a little more scenery. Just my thought. Pirates. Bloody hells. Have you no sense? Get below. We're safe here. It's fine here. Pirates can't enter the below decks. It's a treaty. What's the world coming to? Asks Brennan. Pirates fire on our ship flying the Mincent colors. Bastards either have a boatload of balls or bugger all for brains. Crunch. You can rest easy, friends. We made it out of cannon range. No buccaneer's bark will catch this flighty temptress once the wind's in her sails. See what I'm saying? The script is charming. That was too bleeding close. Glad one of us kept his head in his shoulders. I reckon I'd have lost mine otherwise. Them pirates gave up the chase. We must be close to port. Let's head up on deck and have us a look, shall we? Yeah, let's do it. Cruising. Think the ship's moving or just the camera? Oh, it's definitely just the camera. 100% emote. By the by, is this your first trip to Limsa Lamensa? Sure. Oh, I wonder if that was an opportunity to skip a tutorial. Is it? Well then, let this journeyed itinerant tell you the ins and outs of your destination. Limsa Lamensa prides itself on being Eorzea's foremost naval power. Weren't too long ago that the place was ruled by pirates, but thanks to the current admiral's civilizing influence, the city-state could almost pass for a respectable nation. You'd never guess she was once a rum-swilling buccaneer herself. Of course, most folk ain't so quick to change, and with a town full of liberty-loving ruffians, you can imagine how many naysayers and troublemakers she's got to deal with, like them pirates who took a fancy to us just now. And if that weren't bad enough, I've heard the Sahagin are raiding the coast just as bold as you please. Them are the sea-dwelling beast men the locals call fishbacks, in case you didn't know. I wonder if I can skip forward without clicking, because a click is kinda noisy. Ah, at long last, Lando. Behold Limsa Lamensa, a nation blessed by the ocean's bounty and beloved of Limlayan, goddess of navigation. Limlayan. There we go. That's what Final Fantasy XIV is about. Really long conversations that are kind of charming and make a lot of reference to the world they take place in. And,
on a windswept isle in the southwestern corner of the realm.
Well, thanks for showing up. I was doing all the voices myself, and I only really do the one,
Amidst
so...
the roiling waves of the Lotano Sea lies the maritime city-state of Limsa Lominsa.
Jutting a rock from the depths. Not unduly high poly
Haven for
rock.
bandits and brigands, cutthroats and curs, seekers of both freedom and fortune, comes a lone adventurer.
Hand to chest, hopeful eyes. Me?
Lone yet not alone, for the hero's arrival
paradox.
has drawn the gaze of the nation's patron deity, Limlane.
Yeah, thanks for pronouncing it after I had to. Limlane.
What realm-shaking fate has she descried in the churning waters of this mortal's future?
Is the vocabulary on display. Descried. An unusual deployment there. Stop smiling, buddy. You look goofy. Gotta look like a mean twink all the time. That is the law. And here's where we part ways, son. Well, I immediately got mad again as soon as Brennan opened his mouth, so... I'm off to the markets to deliver me wares. Then it's on to the high road for me. Here, I want you to have this, by way of thanks for saving me ass earlier. All we did was, like, not freak out. Give it to your first mate, man. He's the one who steered us safe from harm. Hey, you never did tell me your name, did you? Well, here's an idea. We could do a guessing game. Become the sort of storied personage I can brag about having met, and I'll consider us square. I really like it. Like, it's good. It's a good line. Strongly established character.
Through peril and hardship, discovery and triumph, may the navigator guide this brave soul on his life's voyage.
Well, I'm sure that you will.
Swallows all.
That was a pretty morbid way to end the thought. Final Fantasy XIV. Not usually the way the Roman numerals are written. A little confusing, I think. I wonder if there's any Final Fantasy XVI news. Yeah, let that music swell. Our face does look a little short, doesn't it? Very sad. So where do we come from exactly? I mean, I guess we come from another continent. Hey, says the yellow jacket infantryman, you there? I mean you. This is my district, and I make it my business to know all the scum that washes up in it. Oh? An adventurer fresh off the boat, is it? Well then. Allow one of Limsa finest to set you on the right path. Hop to it, lad, says Risflow. Haven't got all day. Do we have control over our character now? Oof. Welcome to Limsa, a bustling city-state filled with scoundrels and brigands, the rough-cut diamond of the Rotano Sea. Please select the control scheme you wish to use. We'll do mouse and keyboard for now. I'd love to use the gamepad, but I don't know if I want to adapt to it at this very moment. Follow the instructions. Yeah, God. Alright, well, you certainly don't need to see this, and this may be the end of our first session. I want to do a check on audio quality, see how I like my own delivery. Maybe I'll hack this together into another video so we can actually get something done. Also, this music may kill my soul if I allow it to continue, because I cannot really handle looping music a lot of the time, so let's go ahead and get rid of that and live in the quiet. Would love to have it only on during cutscenes, because you can't always anticipate when those are going to arrive. It's an ongoing struggle. Anyway, this may or may not be the end. You already know. If it is, see you soon. And if it isn't, see you shortly.